Hello everybody, it's Richard Hart here. I just want to let you know that the Pulsechain.com mainnet has launched and PulseX.com on that mainnet has launched as well. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. We waited a couple years for this and it's finally here.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to an incredible time for crypto, man. It's so good. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Bitcoin and Ethereum, big power moves overnight and fantastic numbers. Bitcoin, we're going to look at that. That has got up some amazing move. We had Ethereum move, then Bitcoin super move, and then Ethereum starting to rise up as well. Altcoin season is upon us. It really is about to start really revving up. And of course, we're going to get into Pulsechain and Hex news as well and talk about some fundamentals there. So it's going to be fun. Let's see who's in the chat though. Say hello. Say hello. We got Black Demessiated now. Say number first. Yeah, you were first there. Lies Beneath, obviously on holiday there. Always a big shout out to Lies, of course. Sandy Beach in the house. There's Sandy Beach. Day 27 of the push-up challenge. 2 more days. Finish strong. Yeah, if you're participating in that, or you want to start it, that is going really well. And they're almost wrapped up to the last day. 2 more days to go after that. Finish strong. Then a new challenge starting Friday, March the 1st there. So push-up challenge for the month of February, and going pretty well. And that is the link there from Sandy. Big shout out to Sandy for all she does with the health and fitness in the Pulsechain X community. We got a Troper Devon house there. We're in Pulsechain Moon. We're going to talk a bit about that a bit later, so stay tuned for that. Brennan as well. Howdy, Superman and family. Good to see Brennan. Speaking of Pumpamentals, Brennan's our TA guru in our Discord. Big shout out to you. Big hi from Sandy Beach. Hey, Sandy, hope you're doing well. Wookie is all over the news, apparently. I'm still looking for sources, though, Wookie. I want your sources. Give me your sources. That's what I want to see. We got passive income, cash flow. Yeah, baby, yeah. Good evening, good morning, and a good afternoon. Good night, and welcome. Good to see you. We got Brian as well. Much better today. Thanks, Sandy. Hey, great to see you're feeling better, Brian. We do think of you and care for you, and it's great to see that you're doing a bit better today, Brian. Big shout out to our community leader there. Incredible person. What else do we got? Sandy Beach and else there. Hint. Next challenge will work out your legs. All right, so press ups. I guess that's your chest and your arms, your back. Maybe a sort of a general workout, but next is your legs. That's pretty good. Very cool as well. Thanks, boss. You're most welcome, Brian. All right, should we get into it, folks? We're going to start off with the stock market. Let's see how that performed overnight. And then we're going to get into crypto and then Pulsechain. How about that? This is a pretty good run. I'll let us find out where we are, though. I haven't even shared my screen. Let me go to the correct location. Bam. Oh, my goodness. Before we do that, though, Brian is a member for 25 months. Wow. That's right up there with the longest members, of course. Brian's in the top 4. And I think there's 3 of them, 3 people that are up in the right up there. So Brian is one of the longest members. A big shout out to Brian for huge support. And he is our community leader. So he's a pretty important player in our community. Passive income says, okay, I will do push-ups now. Thanks for the message. Yeah, that's a good idea. Man, you get strong. It's been good. You got to be health and fit for crypto, right? Especially with the bull market ramping up. Got to be health and fit for that. So that's no surprise. All right, let's get into the news. Let's share the screen here and see how the stock market's performed overnight. So we got the Dow Jones is down 0.25%, 96 points to 38,972. We got the S&P 500 is up 0.17%, almost 9 points to 5,078. And the Nasdaq there is the big mover, the big tech. All the tech companies in the Nasdaq is up 0.37%, 59 points to 16,035. So all looking pretty good there. US dollar is down slightly, or just pretty much flat actually, 103.74. That is pretty much it on the indices. Let's go to the commodities. West Texas is at $78.40. Brent oil is at $82.20. They're both down slightly. And gold there is at $2,039. But gold's being left aside, isn't it? Because Bitcoin is the better gold. Yeah, we've got a big target there on gold's back. We could potentially Bitcoin, get up to $400,000. It'd be massive, right? An equivalent market cap to gold. Silver there at $22.60 at the moment. And let's move down to some of the commentary here. We did get some economic news. Consumer showing signs of trouble. Remember, the US is the world's big consumer, and about let's say 2/3 to 70% of the economy is consumption in the United States. So if there's a little bit of sign of trouble, that means potentially less spending and then less inflationary pressures. It's kind of the idea there. Fed speakers continue to urge caution on rate cuts as well. So obviously that everyone's looking for that rate cut, that pivot in interest rates. Consumer confidence unexpectedly fell to 106.7 in February from 110.9 the prior month, marking a 3-month low as the impact of inflation continued to weigh on consumers. Similar to businesses curtailing investment amid a still positive but uncertain outlook for the economy as well as monetary and fiscal policy, consumers are growing less confident, Stifel said. Durable goods orders, meanwhile, fell more than expected in January amid a sharp drop in bookings for commercial aircraft, falling 6.1% last month. The duo of reports come a Fed officials. Reports come as a Fed officials continue to urge caution on rate cuts too soon. With inflation running above target, labor markets tight, and demand showing considerable momentum. My own view is that there is no need to preemptively adjust the stance of policy. Kansas City Federal Reserve Bank President Jeffrey Smith said in his first extensive public remarks on Monday since began the job last August. A lot of extra stuff there. So there we are. Still, I think targeting June still seems the most logical time there. Maybe slipping into July potentially, but I think really June. This is positive for maybe June marks there. So that's the economic news. And of course, as you guys know, the Federal Reserve meeting is coming up only a couple of weeks away. 3 weeks is it? Let's go to find out how long. 3 weeks and 18 hours. There we go. On the 20th of March at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So keep that in your calendar. We're not really expecting a pivot maybe as early as June. June's kind of the earliest there with 75% of the market expecting 65% of the market expecting a pivot in June. So that's probably the earliest we're going to expect it. And July there, it's 83% in July. So that's kind of the ballpark in the middle of the year. All right, that leads us to the crypto market, what looks fantastic, absolutely amazing on crypto. What else there? Brennan says, I think 6,000 points for this S&P end of the year, says Brennan. There we go. There's a nice little target from Brennan. Appreciate that. All right, there's Bitcoin there, $57,072. Woohoo! Up 4.6%. Man, oh man, 51%, 51.17% is the Bitcoin dominance over crypto. So that is strengthened, obviously, with the Bitcoin rally here. Ethereum there is up at $3,248, up 2.35%. And then, of course, you can see a few other standouts happening here. We've got Dodge is up 10% to almost 10 cents. And we've got Bitcoin Cash is up 6.8% to $294. We've got XRP, which I'm not a big friend of, and I know somebody in the chat will be pretty happy, is up 7% at 59 cents there from XRP. And, of course, SHIB there also looking like a standout, up 7.88% there to quadruple 011 on the old meme coin. Now, it's just think, will that be moving higher on Pulsechain? So we're going to check that later on, right? Will the Pulsechain copy be moving up like SHIB there? That's pretty interesting. Also, the wrapped Bitcoin there also up 5%, 55,000, obviously with Bitcoin there as well, the wrapped version on Ethereum. So those are some of the standouts there. What's this AR here? AR up there. AR is up 16% to $19. So some standouts here. Let's zoom in a bit closer to Bitcoin though. Over 57,000. What a move! What a move! And let's go here. So this is Bitcoin at the moment, and you can see two big power moves here on the daily, up and away. And of course, the high of the day so far, $57,646 is on Coinbase, of course. $57,646. The low, $54,490. So what a range that is. Over what's that? $3,000. Pretty amazing, right? And you guys know that. Let's zoom out here a little bit here. Let's go to the weekly. Get rid of the overlays quickly, and we'll go to the weekly. Actually, let's finish off our commentary on the daily, and we'll get to the weekly in a minute. But let's move over here. Look what we've got coming up. The Bitcoin halving. Woohoo! It is getting closer and closer every day. And how many days away? 49 days. So we're under 50, almost a month and a half. We're climbing down to 45 days. So still a bit of time to go before that. And we're already up at 57,000. Isn't that fantastic? So pretty awesome. What's driving some of this? Well, obviously the Bitcoin ETFs have been doing really well. We've been talking about that. Yesterday, I think we just looked at it. It was up $5.7 billion through the Bitcoin ETFs net this year. And of course, those launched on the 10th of January. And now we've got also, agencies like MicroStrategy, obviously a big giant Bitcoin holder with Michael Saylor, bought another 3,000 Bitcoins for a total of 155 million between February the 15th and February the 25th. MicroStrategy, along with the subsidiaries, now owns 193,000 Bitcoins worth $11 billion. And they're not selling them. They're not selling them. Oh, no. Let's check out from Michael Saylor himself. He is not selling this stuff. So here he is.
Listing holdings, as I mentioned in the intro, now worth around $10 billion. You have paper gains of about 70% or so, which a lot of people would like to see that sort of return. At any point, would you sell? When would it make sense to take profits there?
Well, I've famously said I'm going to be buying the top forever. Bitcoin is the exit strategy. It is the strongest asset. So what we see right now is the Bitcoin has just emerged as a $1 trillion asset class. And it's alongside names like Apple and Google and Microsoft. But the difference between Bitcoin and the Magnificent Seven is Bitcoin's an asset class. It's not a company. There's not enough room in the capital structure of those companies to hold $10 trillion or $100 trillion worth of capital. So Bitcoin's competing against gold, which is 10x what it is right now. It's competing against the S&P index. It's competing against real estate, $100 trillion plus asset class as a store of value. So we believe capital is going to keep flowing from those asset classes into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is technically superior to those asset classes. And that being the case, there's just no reason to sell the winner to buy the losers.
So there we are, some big talk there from Michael Saylor. And of course, he's backed up his talk with his actions, or with his walk, as we would say. 3,000 Bitcoins are pretty amazing there as well. So that's pretty huge. That is from Michael Saylor. And of course, let's get into where we're heading here. Obviously, the rest of the year, we've got ticking away there. But where could the price of Bitcoin go by the end of the year? So we've got the Bitcoin halving. We typically know we may have there's always chance of a little hiccup and maybe the month after the halving. But of course, we do have the news around Ethereum in May following the Bitcoin halving. And then, of course, typically just the price just rides up all the way. And with all this money coming into the system, man, is it going to be even better than ever? It looks pretty amazing. So let's look at some forecasts there. And we're going to go have a check out of Tom Lee. So Tom Lee, obviously, he was the only real analyst to call the S&P 500 target last year. He was basically on the money. And then, now he is calling the price of Bitcoin, which we've covered before. But this is his latest interview here. So let's check it out.
Bitcoin, because I have no idea. I don't know what it's trading on. Maybe, I don't know what you think it's trading on now. The ETF, obviously, that was something. Usually it likes the Fed to ease, so you just said some positive things about that maybe for more printing. But I said, and I was just throwing out a number. We're at 50. I said, what you said it might be strong for the remainder of the year.
Yes.
I said 75. What did you say to me?
I think it's, could be as high as 150,000 this year.
So double what I thought was.
Yeah.
150,000, so we're tripling at this point.
Yeah, because you've got demand improving with the ETF, and you have the supply shrinking with the halvening. And if monetary policy eases, which we expect, that's supportive of risk assets. And Bitcoin's holding up. I mean, that's another reason why I don't think a drawdown is going to start that soon. I mean, Bitcoin's been rallying the last couple of weeks.
Wow. So take that to the bank.
Those are big numbers. I don't know anymore.
And are you in, hold on, let me just go back. Are you in the camp of this is like a $500,000 valued?
Over the next...
Over 5 years, are you?
Yeah, it is sound money. And I think it's proving to be useful. And
Proving to be useful how?
Well,
it's very useful if you're an investor right now.
Yes, it's been a great store value. It's been a good risk asset. It's also incredibly secure. There hasn't been a single fraudulent entry on the blockchain since inception. I don't think any bank can say that's true of their P&L and accounting. 6% of banking transactions are suspicious, 0% on the Bitcoin blockchain.
So pretty awesome there. That is Tom Lee backing up his prediction of 150K. Remember, originally his range is 150 to 180. And of course, some people are going well beyond that, 250K, and some even higher than that. If we get to gold, it's about $400,000 Bitcoin. So yeah, but for this year, 2024, that's a pretty nice target at 150. You can see the commentator there, well-known personality, was talking about 75K. But of course, Tom Lee has been very good with his predictions. So pretty exciting now. 150K, I think, is a pretty reasonable target for the end of the year. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be little pullbacks on the way, but definitely exciting to see that. Bitcoin is incredibly popular globally, says Property Review. Absolutely. So that is some of the exciting stuff there. So we looked at who's buying at the moment. MicroStrategy there, Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin ETFs. And we've looked at some of the price prediction for the end of the year. And we're just warming up. It really is. So pretty cool. Let's get into the chart there. So we're currently, let's go to the weekly and have a look at the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. Before we get into Ethereum, we're going to hide a lot of the overlays there. And let's zoom that down. So this is kind of where we are at the moment on the Bitcoin. And you can see this is weekly candles now. So we've moved from daily to weekly. And here we are. Look at the all-time high here back here in November, right? So 2021. And we were pretty high up on the price there. We had a high of 69,000. So we're not too far away from that, 57,000. And if we're going to head to 150, that's quite doable, right? We're getting there really fast. So kind of cool. And that is also, that's only another 20% from here. Another 20% here from the all-time high there for Bitcoin. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So kind of cool. The other thing is, another cool thing is, how many times have we been over 50,000 in Bitcoin, right? So we're looking into that sort of layer there. It's just this line here. So just this period here in May 21. And of course, the other big mountain that we had in November there for 2021. So really, we haven't been over 50,000 much. And now we're back over 50,000. So incredibly bullish, right? Incredibly bullish here on the old Bitcoin. So looking great. Now, Ethereum, of course, typically when Bitcoin moves, typically the old pattern was that Ethereum would be a little bit delayed and then it would rise up. And then, of course, after that, with that on the move, then altcoins would go. That's kind of the pattern. And so we're looking to see that phase in. It's sort of happening at the moment, waiting for that big Ethereum move. But we've got tons of news here for Ethereum coming up as well. So obviously, we've got the price range today. We've been as high as $3,291. A low of 3,167. We're currently at the top of that range at $3,240. So Ethereum looking really good. And Ethereum has its own news, right? It's got the Deacon upgrade, the Proto-Dank sharding, the blob temporary data there, the cost benefits for the second layer protocols, Optimism and Arbitrum. Although we did see something pretty controversial there coming out of Vitalik's comments on the layer 2s, which may make people think again about that in the future. But in any case, that's probably going to bode well for Optimism and Arbitrum, things like that. Anyway, we're ticking away closer to the Deacon upgrade. It's currently on testnet. It's had on the third testnet, by the way. So it's been well tested and looks like it's going to still be planned for the 13th of March on the Deacon upgrade in mainnet. So that's a big deal for Ethereum. 2 weeks away. So we could see some really nice moves here on Ethereum, especially with the momentum of Bitcoin. Bitcoin being like the ocean and maybe Ethereum like a big juggernaut ship. Like that's going to be pretty cool. Maybe it was an icon of the seas or something like that. So pretty cool. 2 weeks away from that. And then, of course, the Bitcoin halving, 49 days away. And then, of course, followed up by the Ethereum ETF approvals in 85 days away. Now, the Ethereum ETF approvals, that's going to be pretty interesting with the SEC. I think the bullish side of it is the fact that we have BlackRock and things like that already approved for the Bitcoin ETFs, and they should get a lot of ability to get the Ethereum ETFs. But there is a little bit of controversy out there saying, oh, maybe they're going to try to hold off on that as long as they can. But they seem to be lining everybody up for the 23rd of May. So we'll see how we go there for the Ethereum ETFs. But pretty bullish news all the way through from March, April and May. And then potentially in June, if we get that the interest rate pivot, that's pretty bullish as well. So the first half of this year looking absolutely fantastic for the crypto. That leads us into gas prices. Obviously, with a bullish market on Ethereum, the gas prices have been pretty unrelenting the last couple of days. Look at this. There's a 7-day window, and you can see the gas prices there are starting to rise. Nothing like they will be at the peak of the market, although, even with proto-dank sharding is my guess. They're going to be pretty damn high. And of course, that is the Gwei at the moment. So this is the last 24 hours. You can see we're now peaked out up here really high at 94 Gwei. We're only just coming down at the moment, and we're about 44 Gwei, moving around low 40s. So we'll see the next sort of 8 hours. Typically, the Gwei might typically pan off. Just depends on how hot the market stays over the next 8 hours. But typically, the next 8 hours is typically the Gwei does fall off a bit there, so it might be an opportunity for you to do some stuff if you're waiting for lower Gwei. So that's pretty much that leads us into Pulsechain day 291. We're going to talk about this and when's it going to move? When's Pulsechain going to move? So we'll talk about that. Before we do that, though, let's get back in the chat here and catch up on one or two more comments. Eddie says Bitcoin pumping means good times for Pulsechain. Woohoo! Yeah, well, we have been talking about a couple day delay, so that's kind of where we might be heading with that, and also the magic upride. Those two forces could be at play there. We've got Archie in the house there. Good to see Archie. Hi all. Welcome to the chat. But Brennan says 60 to 63K most likely pullback, says Brennan. That's on the TA there for Bitcoin in the short-term time frame. So good little alpha there from Brennan, our TA guru. This would create a huge cup and handle on the weekly, says Brennan. Wow, that'd be fantastic for the future. Cup and handle. So good alpha there. We got Check My Pulse. Good evening, Hex Token family. Hey, good to see Check My Pulse. Welcome to the chat as well. Welcome for everybody else just slipping in here as we're about 20 minutes through. And we're about to starting the Pulsechain update. So let's see here. Let's go back into view. All right, Pulsechain day 291. And Pulsechain's not really firing, right? So Pulsechain's not firing. It's pretty flat, really. So 000135 is Pulse. Just up only 0.21%, 35% sacrifice price. Pulsex there at quadruple 052, down 1.2% there. And the buy and burn is currently sitting at, 711.1 billion, which is 3.48%. So almost at 3.5% of public supply is gone forever. Incentive token, the ratio is 24,637. So the ratio of Pulse to incentive has actually broken to the upside there, broken that resistance channel. We'll look at that in the charts. That is at 1.5% at the moment with the old ratio going up. The amount of tokens in supply, 25.1 million incentive tokens. And we're looking forward to TRX V4 in early April. That's kind of the play there and get some more burned incentive tokens. Depending on the GameFi, but presumably it's going to have that again. PHEX at the moment is at 1.53 cents, down 3% today. So EHEX is really, yesterday it was sort of struggling. Today struggling a little bit there. EHEX at the moment, 86/100th of a penny. The combined price of EHEX and PX is 2.39%. 9 cents, sorry, 2.39. So just below 2.4 cents. Now, once it does get over at 3 cents, though, it's going to be off to the races. I'm sure of it. With the old Hex there, between 4 and 8 cents. So just keep an eye out on that. It's likely to move when people least expect it, as my guess. And that is the play. Now, obviously, we've got the BankX sell walls up over the EHEX side of it on the Ethereum chain. That is day 291. Let's go to the charts and have a look at those. We're going to run through these, of course. Actually, I haven't even set them up, so there we go. Anyway, let's go here. So here we are, 000135. We've had a high today of 001395, so just between just below 0014, and we're just slowly just crying up here. I might have a bit of a lag, as my guess, between the Ethereum move and Bitcoin move and Pulsechain. That's probably what's just lagging us there. We've got plenty of room in the RSI. It's only at 55, and we do have a turning MACD that's slowly turning into the positive bullish move. So maybe we just need another day there. We'll see what happens today. We're still in the week, right? So it's Tuesday US time, and so we've still got plenty of time for Pulsechain to move this week. So it's probably just got that little bit of lag delay there. Pulsex at the moment, that's got a bullish cross printed. So a bullish cross has been printed on Pulsex. And we've got a red candle today, which is kind of funny together. We've got a bullish cross, but a red candle, and quadruple 05197. We've had a high of quadruple 05474. But we've got plenty of room in the RSI, again, down at 54. So let's see what happens the next 24 hours on the old Pulsechain there after Bitcoin and Ethereum have moved. Incentive token as well. And the other thing we're waiting for is Power City Earn Protocol. That's a big deal, but we'll see what they do with their Oracle solutions and stuff like that, given the delay in Future Oracle ramp up. So we're at $3.33 at the moment on the old incentive token, and the ratio, as I said, is broken out from the range, which has given it a positive price appreciation, right? You can see here 1.5% up on incentive, so it's doing really well. The incentive token, it is broken out to the upside, so this is boding very well for the incentive token, especially if we have Pulsechain decide to move up with the lag delay after Bitcoin Ethereum over the next 24, even 48 hours. So looking pretty good. Kind of cool. Let's see here. What else we got? Got a couple other comments in the chat here before we move on too far. Let's see here. I think I got up to there. We've got Paul C in the house there. Hey, Paul, good to see you. When Skoda says Paul C. Skoda. You guys know a Skoda? We used to have a guy at school who used to have the Skoda. Yellow Skoda of all that. It was a real beachy yellow Skoda. Excavator's in the house there. Hey, gang, good to see Excavator. Walkie says all in INC. Nice one. Christian's in the house says, what's cracking? Good to see you, Christian. Welcome to chat. Paul C says, are we all in a cult? Are we in a cult and all drinking the Kool-Aid? I hope not, says Paul C. Don't worry, man. It's it's pretty funny. Craig Pitt says, morning all. Good to see Craig. And Check My Pulse says, feeling pumped about RH. Was just watching, Kaiser Crypto tweet RH video, a loop about how we can understand how high price on Hex can go. Absolutely. Like I say, we've got two things. One, probably the lag, and number two, the magic carpet ride. So we're going to play that at the end of the live stream. Stay tuned for that. But incentive token looking pretty good there. And let's go to PHEX and EHEX. PHEX at the moment, and I wish I had set these up. It makes it a lot bit easier. But yeah, we're getting pretty close to a bullish cross here on the EMA cross here. So this is almost about the turn. So let's keep a lookout for the next 24 or 48 hours after Bitcoin moving. Probably just got that little bit of delay there on Pulsechain. The RSI on PHEX actually is the best out of the Richard Hart coins, right? So we're way down here at 46. So it's definitely got the most to move there on PHEX. EHEX at the moment, obviously with the BankX sell wall, but at the moment this is sort of lagging behind even PHEX. We're down at 8,600 for a penny. It's going to be interesting to see how that performs in the next couple of days versus the Richard RH coins. But we have got plenty of room on the RSI at 46 there at the moment, and we have not yet entered the buy zone. Right, it was 1.1 cents, so it's up here for the BankX last time I checked. Let me know in the chat there. I'm pretty sure they're all still there, sitting there. I haven't checked. I was supposed to do it yesterday. Forgot about it. All right, let's go and back into Pulsechain. So validators at the moment, we're at 52,373 validators, 1.68 trillion off the market. And what else have we got going there? Let's go have a look. Gas prices, 220,000 beats, so pretty cheap gas. 1 cent for Pulsex transfer, 600 of a penny for a Pulse coin transfer, and 2/10 of a penny for a PRC Trinity transfer. So super cheap on Pulsechain. Currently 48 Gwei on Ethereum, $55 dual swap, 5,200 times cheaper than Ethereum, 5,800 times cheaper than Bitcoin, $3.65 to see in Bitcoin at the moment. And we're pretty much cheaper as always as all the other chains. And as I say every day, we've got the compounding and the profit sharing in our protocols, a real advantage on Pulsechain. So kind of cool. Let's go to the bridge. The bridge is like the heartbeat. We're sitting at 136 million. So we're down from what we were about a week or so ago. We were up about 144 million or so. Obviously, we've got Hex having pulled down a price as well. Otherwise, most of these are stable coins in Ethereum. That's kind of the play. Now, we have got some news around Coast today. We've got $4.2 million, $4.25 million in Coast. But Coast, we're going to talk about that update in a minute. That's coming up as well. But otherwise, we're ticking away. So that is day 291. We're going to be starting day 292 shortly, just probably after the live stream, and kind of cool. Before we do that, though, let's have a quick look at PHEX, EHEX combined, since I forgot about it. Let's have a look at where that is heading. The combined price. Always like to look at the Hex chart there. Bam. This is on InvestXIO, if you haven't seen that. Oh, we had a big move down, actually. We were up here at 2.4 cents. Moved down to 2.369 there on the 15-minute chart. Pretty dramatic on 15-minute chart. Let's go to the daily, though. And so there's the daily. As you guys know, we want to break that 3 cents. Once we do, man, I think it's up and away. But we're currently just stuck in there at the moment in that channel. 2.3 cents with a bit of support at 2.2. That's where we are. But maybe the next 24, 48 hours is going to be a turnaround as we sort of had that lag delay there from the Ethereum chain. So let's get into our other categories, the top PRC 20s. Let's do that and see what's pumping or not pumping, and as the case would be. Well, actually, everything is pretty much down on the list. Let's have a look at any or Aave tokens up. So 29% on Aave. So that's up at 9.7 cents on Pulsechain. So that is the Pulsechain copy, of course. Let's have a quick look at that chart, since that's a sort of a standout on my list. So that's looking pretty good. Nice little pump there on the old Aave token. Not sure what particularly driving that, but that is pumped. Compound is also up 63% as well. Wow, some big moves on these less known ones. We've got some big volume there. Got all the pumped all the way from 10 cents up to 19 cents. Actually got as high as 21 cents there. So over the 2x. Wow, up 63% at the moment on the old compound. So if you guys are holding some of those tokens, I know some of you are, then they just got pumped. Maybe sell the pump. I don't know. It's up to you. That's the other one there. We got a Pippy there. Is on the small liquidity pool, up 100% there as well. So those are the standouts there at the moment. Everything is pretty much down. We got PDI down just below 0.2 of a penny. What's the wrap? Bitcoin is at $67. So that hasn't moved quite yet. That is a narrative that we are watching. May have a lag move. We'll see when Pulsechain moves. SHIB there is pretty much a flat as well, and Pepe is down 6% there. So those are the players on the main top PRC 20s. Let's go to our third categories, meme coins, and have a look at this. We are sorting by liquidity, right? So we've got liquidity sorted. We've got Axis has made a big move up there, 6.8% to 16,700. So it's a bit of a recovery there. Remember, we had that big whale sell and pushed it down to what, 14,500 or something. So that's up a couple $1,000 since the whale sold off there. The mighty PGGC. The chart to rule them all, as it were. This is still looking pretty good. A little bit of profit taken today, but man, the TGC chart looking like a boss. Nothing else you can say about that. Blast token is up 2.7%. Nope token, Randy Alaski's token, is just sitting at 0.2 of a penny, holding pretty well there. What else is looking pretty interesting? Let's jump down here. Mega is up 7%, so it's a nice little bit of a standout. Those are the standouts there. What is an opportunity? What is an opportunity here? Let's look at the pullbacks. We've got any particular opportunities here? Not that I can see. They're all pretty modest there. So, all right, let's go to our main category, the Pulsechain projects, and let's see what's cooking here. So we're sort by liquidity, and we can see that Party token is up 8.3%. So that's the Hex staking pools there from Maximus and Dipcatcher. That's up 8%. So nice little pump there. Now, I know that Dipcatcher did a surprise live stream overnight, so that may have helped as well. Pulsepot there, up 6.6%. Wow. Pulsepot, the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino on Pulsechain, and it is looking like a boss there, $8.83. And as you guys know, I'm a big supporter of Jacob's ecosystems. I cover his projects on a very regular basis. $8.83 at the moment, looking like a boss. Gold Pulsepot. Let's go check. They might have some of those new games out. We're expecting to see them this week. So let's have a look here. No, they're not quite out yet. But this is Pulsepot. That is Pulsepot there. And we're waiting for price calls, chain race, and roulette. And I believe chain race is out first. So that's going to have a lot of influence celebrities in the Pulsechain X community on those from the looks of it, including Richard Hart himself. Otherwise, Jackpot, Convoys, and Plinko are all out at the moment. Let's have a quick look at the burn while we're here, since we're on this site. 1.86% of the tokens are being burned, and of course more games are being added, so it's pretty fun. And if you haven't checked out Randy Alaski's channel, he's doing a games night. I think it's every Wednesday, so there'll be, I guess, tomorrow, because we're always a day ahead here. So Randy Alaski has a games night on his YouTube channel for Pulsepot, so check that out as well. Looking fantastic, isn't it? That world's first. Isn't it great to have this real frontier DeFi on Pulsechain? Really cool, and being priced up really nicely. Pretty badass. All right, Tetra is up 2% there as well. What else is looking pretty interesting? Goat token, the NFT. If you want to become a Pulsechain NFT, Pulsechain was it the validator? You can do it via the NFTs, and Goat token's looking pretty good. up 2.88% there. Those are kind of the highlights, I think, at the moment today. Yeah, those are the highlights. Let's have a look at any opportunities. Let's look at the ones that are pulling back there. Oh, Pulse LN down 32%. Wow, that's got to be an opportunity, right? That's been doing really well in the charts. A bit of a pullback today. Obviously, some probably big seller came in and sold, but a nice little pullback there for Pulse LN. Could be a little opportunity to pick up some of that, quality project. PLN, of course, is we're going to be talking about that during our session here. So let's do that while we're here. Now, what they're saying is that Pulse LN has just lowered its fees by 10%, and they don't plan to stop there. So some nice stuff happening there from Pulse LN. So they have dropped their fees by 10% if you want to use that. They also include the Lightning Network and other stuff like that. So great on-ramp, off-ramp to Pulsechain. Super fast. I've used it. Really, really good. Just always check with any of these on-ramp, off-ramps that you're getting a good deal. But apart from that, really, really, really great. So nice little pullback there. Maybe able to pick up some nice little volume there on that big pullback. So Pulse LN there. Now, what's the other one there? ZKZX, the Tornado Cash Fork. Man, had a big profit taking yesterday. Look at this thing. Has managed to bounce back. We saw it pretty much just after it happened, and in the Discord, and big volume there came out, and has bounced back to just under 0.2 of a penny there. Got down to 0.1 of a penny. Nice little buyback there. Some good little profits in there for people that picked up ZKZX there. The only privacy coin that we've got at the moment after the fall of Beatbox. Not Beatbox, sorry, Beatbox, Beetroot, and the Hurricash, those ones. All right, what else we got there? White token, wow, a Coast there. Oh, yes, a Coast has been priced down big time. So that's the other big news, is that Coast, a very important protocol on Pulsechain, a fiat on-ramp to Pulsechain, the only one that we have at the moment. They have an important update. We have temporarily paused deposits and withdrawals while we work through a regulatory issue with our banking partner, Fortress Trust. We hope it's resolved quickly, but we don't have an exact timeline right now. After the debacle with the Prime Trust, remember that was their first provider, we have known the importance of finding a workaround for partnering third parties for custody and payments. Over the past 6 months, we have been pursuing standalone MTLs and MSB registration, with some already being approved. This difficulty accelerates the timeline for us moving to be independent. In the meantime, we have several other service providers that we're evaluating who can help us to provide everyone payment rails to Pulsechain, and users have other options for on-ramping, e.g. bridging. Please note, if you've initiated a deposit prior to receiving this message, it's very likely the funds will be returned to your bank. Please stay tuned for an update as soon as the issue is resolved. Use the website chat feature if you need assistance, and do use that chat feature on the website if you have any questions. You need assistance with this or other Pulsechain related issues. Back to work for us. So that is from the team there. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So we have temporarily paused deposits and withdrawals while they're working through that regulatory issue, whatever that is. Someone asked here, quick question for you. Will one CST, the stablecoin, be redeemable for $1 once you guys are back up and running? Easy answer, yes, of course. So some nice feedback there. So that is from Coast. And that came out today. The price has sold off there from the looks of it with the volume. Pretty normal sort of thing there as they pause their service. At least they're at 1.2 or 1/1200th of a penny at the moment. So that is pretty much it. Let's go look at the daily. It's the daily candle at the moment. So still holding up pretty well. And this is obviously like Pulse LN. This is a really, really important. In fact, it is species unique on Pulsechain. That is pretty much at the moment. So you could speculate on the price or let it, see what happens there. But service has been stopped for the moment there, at least for deposits and withdrawals, right? So that's kind of where it is at the moment. Stable coin still ticking away. All right, let's go have a quick look actually while we're here. Let me just go back here. So stablecoin, let me just jump over to that. Let's go have a quick look at stablecoin. We'll be back there. Actually, have we got any others here? Communist is down 20%, so it could be a bit of opportunity there. Plant and Holy, bit of opportunity there. I picked up some of these the other day. P-Drip is down 7% there. Watt token. Now, Watt token might be a good opportunity to pick up some. The Power City protocol obviously delayed with that launching. That is down 7%, so maybe a bit of opportunity there, as well as some of these RHYH, whatever they tokens, what I call I've forgotten the name. TYRH tokens, yeah, plant, holy, and water, stuff like that. All right, that is it at the moment. And I saw Time Token was 5% cheaper too. So, I mean, there's always some opportunity there with the Intent Money profit sharing. So let's quickly look at the stable coins and have a look at CST. How's that holding up? Let's go to the main one here. So this is the CST on V2 on Pulsechain, and it's holding up pretty well. So 97 cents there, not pegged to $1, but you know that's the idea of arbitrage. That is where it is at the moment. So it's still pretty stable. So it's still not doing too bad. That line there, the yellow line, is the $1 pretty much. The right there. So it's still, you know, it's been traveling below peg, but still operating pretty well at the CST there. Any questions? Hit them up in the site there, but that is pretty much it. I'll leave a link to this in the chat there if you guys want to follow up on that, because I know many of you do use Coast. Bam. All right, so that is the Coast link there for that post. Who else has jumped in here? We've got a few others here as well. Let's see what else there. I'm going to go in some of these comments. So that is, have I got up to all that? I don't know if I have. So that is Coast. Did I lose my chart? I did. I closed down my price chart accidentally. But I think that was it. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. So I think we got to that one. Magic Upright. So Magic Upright briefly. Their Buffet audit. So Buffet is their main staking portal. This thing about that. So they have 3 protocols. They have Stakehouse coming, which is a Hex staking pool protocol. They have Bistro, which is over OTC, and that's over the counter. I think that's going to be the first over OTC that we've got on the Pulse chain. We do know that Batias is looking at OTC as well, right? So Magic Upright is probably miles ahead there, probably not pretty close to launching. And number 3 is the Barista, which is the liquid loans front end for auto balancing, and it's got the Bean token. And that's already live. So that's actually live. So got 1 out of their 3 protocols live. But they've also got their main protocol, which is the Buffet, which is where you stake and earn the rewards from those 3 protocols, including Bean token. That is, it looks like it's getting ready to launch too. So that'd be obviously their 4th and their cornerstone there. MCR Buffet audit wraps up, signaling the start of the thrilling Magic Upright journey. The concept is straightforward: delayed gratification through a steady drip of real yield for the staker class. Does this ring a bell? Pulse chain, the people's chain, off to freedom. Absolutely. So that is from Power City there. So I'm going to repost that too. Now I will be looking to have the Magic Upright team on the live stream. So that may be coming up any day now, tomorrow, next day. We'll see where that fits in. But we will be having them coming on to the show to showcase their ecosystem and give you the latest updates on all those protocols and stuff like that. So they're really doing really well. What else are we going to say about that? I think that's it. Magic Upright. We look forward to it. All right, let's get into it. We're going to get into the algo. Now, if you guys haven't known, the 4th stablecoin coming to Pulse Chain, PUSD ALGO. I think it's going to be big, man. I think it's going to be big. Now, this is the 4th protocol in the lineup for Jacob's ecosystem. Obviously, Jacob's got PulsePod out at the moment. You saw the chart earlier, $8.83 or whatever it was, just absolutely firing. The world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino. This guy's leading in the DeFi innovation on Pulse Chain. There are some other great teams like Tetra out there, but you know Jacob's delivered a lot. BNB pot there obviously is going to get an upgrade as well. That's coming out shortly. And then in March, we're expecting TYCZ, which is going to be a game changer. You're right, centralized exchanges on a DeFi. I mean, seriously, it's going to be pretty cool. And white labeled, meaning that people can set it up and run their own centralized exchange in DeFi. Come on, that's got to be good. So I'm looking forward to that full model when it comes out, but that's coming out in March. Now, that sacrifice is over, right? They did about $1 million to $1.2 million. That's already done. That's coming out in March. And then early April, we're looking for the TYRH V4, the GameFi, which is going to be very different from the previous versions 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to be huge. In other words, some of those Jacob tokens at the moment could be worth quite a bit if you're willing to hold on for 4 weeks or so until that launch is maybe 5 weeks. It's hard to tell. But early April is the expectation there. And then, of course, the big one, number 4 there, or 5, is PUSD ALGO, potentially the 4th big stablecoin and potentially massive protocol on Pulse Chain. And, of course, Terra Luna done right. It's kind of like that, Terra Luna done right and Terra Luna done DeFi. So, in other words, with the DeFi approach to it, solving a lot of the problems that Terra Luna had, and the scalability could be massive. So looking forward to it. Now, if you haven't checked it out, I've got a couple of videos on this channel with Jacob around a PUSD algo. The stablecoin name is awesome, PUSD, so Pulsechain USD, and it could be massive. In addition to liquid loans and Power City, could be absolute juggernaut. And you're getting in with a much better upside potential because you're going to have a relatively low sacrifice raise, and maybe $1 million is the target, and you've got a massive commercial upside. So it's like dreams come true, right? You get to participate in the latest innovative DeFi using stability miners and limit orders to keep the peg, and the peg's going to be PUSD versus USDL, so the big liquid loans. So you've got all these awesome tokenomics. There's multiple ways of earning revenue on the platform as well. And of course, 75% of the sacrifice is going straight back into the protocol day one. So you're not wondering where the sacrifice money is going. It's going straight back in day one. And that is 50% is going into liquidity pools, 25% into the stability miner. And it's going to be amazing. And of course, 25% to the team for the development, which is pretty cool. It's really cool to get be able to participate. We saw how successful PUSD ran as a prototype on Pulsechain, and it was super profitable and super stable. And so we're looking forward to that operating in the real live when it goes live. Now, this launch phase, somewhere in the second half of this year is probably most likely for the launch phase, but it's still during the bull market. So that's going to be positive. And yeah, I can't wait to see that. Now, if you want to get into this, there are two bonuses. One is the referral bonus. It's up to 20%. I've got a 19% one in the link in the video description, so you can use that to do sacrifice. And number two is that there's a bonus X. So if you do $1,000 inclusive of the referral bonus, you get that second bonus X, which could be between 1.01 to 2 multiplied. We don't know what it's going to be. It's random, randomly generated, but those are the two bonuses available to people. In any case, if you don't do over 1,000, you can get the 90% bonus and start winning straight away. That link is in the video description. All you have to do is take some of these tokens here. You can either use Pulsechain or Ethereum. Just use any of these tokens to sacrifice. Send it to this address at the top here. Ends in E223. Obviously, connect your wallet, and you'll be able to participate in that. So it's pretty cool for that. So get involved on that one. Now, we're going to get into Hex, of course. Before we do, though, let's see who else has jumped in the chat here. Before we get to Hex with the daily results, because we always like to get paid with the Hex bonus there. What else? Let's jump in the top here. We see a load of Craig. Good to see Craig. What else there? Let's jump through some of those comments. Pulse Hex in the house there. Hex won't get back above 1 cent. This bull market says Pulse Hex. He's got Pulse Hex on his name. He's very bearish on Hex. Paul C says, I always notice the price on CoinMarketCap for Pulse is never the same as Pulse Hex. Paul says, I always notice the price on CoinMarketCap for Pulse. It's never the same as Pulse Hex. Not even sure it is a time delay, says Paul. What else there? Chipman Pulse says, one day in the near future, combine Hex $1, then a 2, 3, 4, 5. Woohoo! We are in the exactly right place early. Yeah. Well, let's pull up. Actually, just to pull up that, let me just get rid of some of these videos. Let's remove some of these that I played earlier. Move that one too, and let's pull in this one here since we're talking about Hex pricing. And let's see if I got that one up here still. I think I'd have. Here we go. This is a really bullish one here from Hexo.
Prediction, June 2025, dude. I think PHEX does a 300 or 400x this bull run, dude. 300 or 400x, $3 to $4 possibly. Why not? Sure. No financial advice. Don't take that as anything, but yeah, why not? 300 or 400. But dude, guys, this is going to be huge. The second pump or the second bull run is going to be huge for Hex, because look at all the stuff we have behind it. Look how many people are now coming into the Hex ecosystem or the RH ecosystem and coming in and wanting to be part of it, right? They want to be part of it. We got BitBoy, we got big influencers now talking about it. And when it starts to run, you don't think that these guys are going to try to jump on board. They're going to try to catch some of the wave. They're going to hop on board, guys. We don't have the scam ties as much. And the biggest thing, what happens when Richard Hart defeats the SEC, and then, just think about the price then. What do you think the price is going to do once the SEC gets just eviscerated in court? Boom, right? And then he starts implementing cool new tech into Pulse X, like single-sided staking, or whatever else, new farms and all this other stuff. What happens? Like, do you not think that these things are all just going to be like, holy smokes, this ecosystem is awesome? Hex, are you saying we should all get lives and go do stuff? Well, you should have been doing that while the bear run was happening. Now that the bull run is here, you've lost your life. Now you're going to have to actually come out and work, right? Like, bull run is when we all should start working. This is when we got to get the word out, especially right now, right before the bull run. Get people in, get people excited, get people, pumped up for what's about to come. The people that are like, yeah, maybe $1 Hex. You're lame. You're lame. $1 Hex, that's lame. What is that, like a 50x from here? Stop being lame. Who wants a 50x in crypto? That's the lamest thing I've ever heard in my life. 50x? Pfft.
All right, that is Hexo's price predictions out there. And Check My Pulse seems to agree with that. So there we go. Brendan says, yeah, be wary of the ZKZX, which is the Tornado Cash Corp. Excuse me, sneeze. Is that my first sneeze on live stream? I think it is. Sorry about that. A link to a pool rug pool early in the year, NFT PAYC. Oh, yeah, okay, they're associated to that. Yeah, that was not a great team there at all with that rug pool. So just be a bit wary on that one. We'll try and find some links in that in Discord to that discussion. I haven't seen any source stuff for that, but that is, I have seen the people talking about that. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token. Great stream as always. Thanks, Sandy Beach. Appreciate that. Blushfish King in the house there with the emojis. Looking cool. Tea time as well. Evening, everybody. Good to see you, tea time. Welcome to the chat as well. Jim Paul says, Hex for the win. Hex is better than Bitcoin. We are here because of Hex. What was built for Hex. RH has shown us the way to true freedom. So glad I've listened and understood. Says Check My Pulse. Indeed. Archie says TYCZ and TRH are going to catch people off guard. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's get back into it. So we're going to go into the result. Have we got the results out yet? No, not quite out yet. So for the Hex Daily Stats, we may get them out because we're 22 minutes after the day. So we'll just hold on for that. We probably will have the Hex Stats in a minute. Let's play another one that we had here. I got another video here, I'm pretty sure. We had Ben Armstrong's predictions, which were kind of interesting here for Pulsechain. So let's have a quick look at his Pulsechain prediction.
Chain a final score of 77, placing it on the B tier. This puts it in the same tier as Ethereum, just below AVAX, ADA, and Hex, and just above CRO and Bitcoin. So now, on to the moment that you've all been waiting for, the price predictions for Pulsechain. These prices are based on previous bull markets and with the expectation of fairly normal market conditions. So let's take a look at 3 different ways this could go. The bearish case, the bullish case, and what I think is probably most likely to happen. In the most bearish case, I only see Pulse reaching 1/10 of a cent with a market cap of nearly $18 billion. This is how things will look if the Hex ecosystem fails to take off here. It could be because of legal troubles, or maybe because the Pulse community just becomes too fragmented between the Hexkins and the newcomers. I don't really see that happening, so let's move on to the most bullish case. Now, if everything goes perfect, I can see Pulse hitting a penny with a market cap of about $148 billion. This would be a penny short of the 10,000x that Richard says his projects are built for, but it would still be a very good run. To have a rally like this, we will need to see even more users from outside the Hex community become attracted to the new applications on the chain. The Hexicans would also start pushing Pulse even harder than they pushed Hex. And of course, the charges against Richard would need to be dropped, or he would need some other type of win in this case for this scenario to play out. Now, what I think is most likely going to happen, realistically, I can see Pulse hitting a price of 1/4 of a penny with a market cap of $37 billion. Hex investors from the last cycle need to understand that what you guys saw for your coin is like finding a needle in a haystack. An educated guess on the needle, I get it, but very few projects see 10,000x gains. And that sets up some out of whack expectations. And I feel that Pulsechain is not going to live up to this unrealistic expectation that a lot of Hexkins might have. I would love it if it did, though. It will still do well overall. It's just that lightning doesn't usually strike twice.
All right, so that's Ben Armstrong on Pulsechain, and as we also got Ben Armstrong on the Hex price. So let's quickly check that.
PX price in this video. I'll say that for another day. This is only EX.
In the most bearish case, I see Hex priced at 10 cents, with a market cap of $17.34 billion. This is what Hex holders will be looking at if Richard faces major fines and the SEC is able to force him into a settlement where he has to admit that Hex is a security. I don't see it happening. The community would still keep the project alive if this were to happen, but the heyday of Hex would be over. If the SEC ends up dropping their case against Richard, as the agency loses relevance in crypto regulation, I can see the most bullish scenario playing out, where Hex hits a new all-time high of $1 with a market cap of $173 billion. In this possible scenario, Hex officially becomes one of the projects to be regulated under the new crypto asset classification, which are recognized to not be traditional securities. Now, for what I think is actually going to happen, the most likely scenario, I think the SEC case will go slowly during the bull run, because we all know how slow the gears of government grind. This won't be great for Richard, though, because Richard Hart is rich, but he doesn't have the same level of wealth and backing that Ripple had. Now, of course, at this point, they still haven't even been able to serve Richard, so maybe the case doesn't even happen. I also think, though, the Pulsechain is taking some of the steam away from Hex, and it also has a better chance of surviving through the battle against the SEC, because even though both projects are mentioned in the case, Pulsechain is its own network, and it's a lot more than just an investment. I certainly don't think Hex is going anywhere, but I also don't see it hitting its previous all-time highs during the cycle unless there's a massive win in court. Realistically, I see Hex reaching half of its previous all-time high of just over 50 cents. That puts my price prediction at about 25 cents with a market cap of $46.8 billion, still more than 25x from where we are now, and definitely not as crazy as the last cycle.
All right, so that was Ben Armstrong, hashtag Big Boy there on his price prediction. We'll move that and let's go back into that for you. Let's bring up the most bullish, of course, which was Toby One Hexanobi, and he's pretty bullish.
Bull flag over the last 3 years plus, and we break out around the time of the halvening. Typically, that flagpole, I'll show you here. The flagpole is, there's the pole, right? And then you go from the breakout. And not only will it show you the height, but also the timeline that it takes. It's uncanny how these kind of will play out, not only to the upside move, but the time it takes to get there as well. It's really weird. You can back test it. It's kind of
put on this
nuts.
ticker here.
So what's interesting about this is that actually takes us into January, February of 2025.
Yes.
And a price target of over $10.
My.
All right, so there's a pretty bullish prediction there from Toby One. Now, some people have challenged the length of the flag down from the flagpole there, but nevertheless, they're still pretty bullish. The timeline there from Toby One is under TA as well. All right, that is it on that one, but we've had a lot more bullish stuff too. Let's bring in some of the influencers. Other than some of the price predictions, we've had quite a few influencers been jumping into the space that had pretty decent followings, expanding the reach of Pulsechain and Hex community significantly with these influencers jumping on board one after another. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, Hex is cool, man. Richard Hart's super smart. I've got respect for him. I don't know him personally as an individual, so I'm not vouching for him like on a personal level, but I respect his work ethic. I think he's really smart. Hex is dominated. Honestly, I wish I owned more of it. So he's done very, very well. I know he just came out with Pulsechain. He's a very interesting character. He's highly intelligent. And I think that should be something you guys pay attention to. I'm not giving advice or recommending anything, but yeah, I'm aware and smart dude. Yeah, I think he's pretty darn credible.
So that's Christopher Green, and he's actually got a very different, I think he's got a lot of non-crypto audience. So that's kind of opening up a new audience there too. From Christopher Green. We also got Donovan Jolie, you guys may have seen. He's very bullish as well. So big influences also.
I think it looks very bullish. I think both of their charts look very bullish. But all Hex is really doing, the P-Hex version, it's just consolidating right at this mid-range. We've been holding this support ever since I drew this box, ever since we were, first started breaking out. We've held it a number of times. Even if we come back down and retest it again, I find it more likely we hold it once more before this thing is eventually going to break out. And it will probably follow this exact path that I have drawn, considering once we get above this 2.5 cent region, once we can get above that, we really don't have any resistance. I'm not really counting the prior all-time high as any resistance. I'm counting the resistance as this 22.5 cent level. That's where I think it's much more reasonable, where if we hit this level, we could see a pullback before we get above. But once the market gets above, once we reclaim this as new support, we're going to see the reversal out of that take place. And I think the reversal is a new all-time high in a price discovery. So there's going to be an insane amount of value that's created. Anybody that was actually early, that was holding Hex, actually got this duplicated. You got really good rates into Pulsechain for sacrificing into that. We're starting to see that whole ecosystem blowing up. And with the launch of Pulsechain, I think that that's the real backing of value when we're talking about Hex. Because if Hex was able to hit $88 billion in total market cap inside of that last cycle without ever being listed on CoinGecko, without ever being listed on CoinMarketCap, without ever being listed on any centralized exchanges, it hit top 3. It was literally right behind Bitcoin, and it was right behind Ethereum in market cap at the top of that last cycle. So if something like Hex can hit that with only being community driven and, you know, only being decentralized, I think that the value of Pulsechain speaks for itself. When we see these being able to stomach all of that, because it's you people that are going to be rewarded the most at the end of the day. But when I look at this thing, I think that the Ethereum version of Hex will do phenomenal. $1 is my target, but I think that it could surpass that. If we have a normal cycle like what we've seen in years past, I think it's very likely we're going to end up seeing this thing go into a fresh all-time high. And $1 really isn't even that far off. I think that we could very easily surpass that.
All right, so some bullish stuff there from Donovan as well. Bodes well for the future, and I guess that his view kind of lines up there a little bit with Toby Wan's as well to some degree. Obviously not the price 10x higher on Toby's, but there we go. Some bullish perspectives there coming up. Now, I don't know if we've got the Hex daily stats out yet. No, we don't yet. So we're probably going to leave it. We're up to an hour. I will cover them tomorrow, but definitely check out hex.com there for Hex. What else there? We got Wookie says Strategy Club. Yeah, join the Strategy Club today. Definitely there. Use the link, Wookie's link there. That's multi-chain. Cover multi-chain projects and strategies. So definitely check that out. All right, let's go back into view. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream. 1 hour and 1 minute, not bad at all. Yeah, accumulate while you can, and let's see what happens over the next 24, 48 hours with Pulsechain vis-a-vis Bitcoin and Ethereum's rally. So it's going to be fun to see. And you can still pick up quite a few deals as we looked at today. All right, okay. Let's leave the last video of the day, which is the ultimate. We talked about the fact we might have a bit of a lag between movements, a day or two, but also we also have the magic carpet ride. So let's leave you with that quick message. Take care, everybody. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. See you in Discord afterwards. Bye for now.
If someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.